Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Thursday, May 9. So glad you can join us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Government has cleared some of the outstanding debt to private nursing homes involved in the Alternative Care for the Elderly program. This follows a meeting between Health Minister Lieutenant Jeffrey Bostic and the Barbados Association of Senior Care Providers yesterday. The private care providers had not been paid for at least 2 months. They have now been paid up to March. Under the Alternative Care for the Elderly program, some 30 private care providers partnered with government to provide 500 beds for patients who cannot be accommodated in government institutions. Minister Bostic committed to working more closely with the private care providers, and Association President Andrea Johnson noted talks were critical to address concerns such as untimely payments, increased fees, and issues related to licensing. In other news this Thursday, the cost of producing marijuana could fall significantly once it's legalized for medical purposes. That's among the findings in a recent study presented by Dean of Management Studies at the University of the West Indies Gavel campus, Dr. Justin Robinson, on Wednesday. He was speaking at the 20th Annual Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies on the topic, Medically Legal while Recreationally Illegal.
And the evidence suggests that once marijuana becomes legal and you can produce it legally, then production costs are likely to fall significantly. Okay, producing illegally, you have to invest costs in hiding from the police. Can you get up to an efficient scale of production? Can you recruit the best workers? There are a variety of reasons why we would expect the cost. And Calkins, his research shows that it could be as low as 20% of the current production costs.
An assurance today that police are still very much on top of crime. The island recorded its 23rd murder at the weekend. However, Superintendent of Police Margaret Stephen, who is in charge of the Bridgetown Division, says the force is working around the clock to arrest the problem. And she again appealed to the public to fully support the fight against crime.
In some instances, public assistance in giving information. This is very important. We have reached a stage where we know how to treat information, and I'm encouraging the public that without your help, we will always have difficulties. We need, when you see something, to say something. We also need each other to be each other's brother's keeper. This is not the time when you can say that some person is officious or malicious, because what happens to me today definitely can happen to tomorrow, given the circumstances and given the world in which we live in. So, yes, apart from the shortages, I don't think that we're getting enough information and in a timely manner to help us prevent crime, which is really our biggest problem, the actual prevention of crime.
Now, there's a popular saying that a little child shall lead them, and that's exactly what 10-year-old Miriam Kaji did today. The Class 3 student of the Wesley Hall Primary School today delivered an exit sign to the Central Police Station. It all stemmed from a recent visit she made to the station with her father when she recognized that the station had no exit sign, and she told her parents she needed to get a sign for the police.
I thought there needed to be a sign because my father went that side, like the enter side, twice, so I thought that we needed an exit sign.
How do you feel to be able to do such a thing for the members of the Royal Barbados Police Force, seeing that they do so much for us?
I feel great.
Her good turn resulted in a reward. Touched by the gesture, the Royal Barbados Police Force gave the child a certificate and her parents a gift basket. Superintendent Margaret Stephen also told reporters that the force was touched by the act.
Given the fact that this is Child Month, and we are celebrating children. And believe me, I come into contact with a lot of children. I know that there are a lot of positive children out there. All the children definitely need is someone to guide them. They need confidence, people in whom they can confide. We talk about role models, but yeah, confidence. More so confiding in someone who will show you when you're right or when you're wrong and hold you and guide you or deal with the matter that is bothering you. So given the fact that we see a lot of children who are positive and their positivity sometimes go unnoticed, we thought it was the best thing to involve the principal, the parent, and the child and letting her do a formal presentation.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness is disturbed by the increasing number of road deaths in the country. He says there's too much indiscipline on the road. More in this report from Television Jamaica.
There has been 161 deaths on the country's roads to date. It's also a major issue for Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Speaking recently, Mr. Holness suggested that the indiscipline is not due to a lack of enforcement by members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Data from the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch shows that over 40,000 tickets have been issued for traffic violations. But Mr. Holness says the carnage on the road is not only by public passenger vehicles.
Even though they are pointed out more often than not, but generally there is a level of indiscipline on the road. And we are horrified that very often the safety of road users take a back seat to getting the next passenger or getting to where I want to go.
He also expressed concern about the rate of motorcycle deaths. There have been 50 since the start of the year.
Fatalities resulting from motorcycles, motorbikes. It is disturbing. And many of those who are dying are young adults just leaving the legally defined age of a child.
And further afield, a year after the U.S. pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, Iran announced it may no longer stick to some parts of the agreement. We get the details from Al Jazeera Television.
My interest is to make sure that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons.
End your pursuit of nuclear weapons. Stop testing and proliferating ballistic missiles.
That's the message to Tehran from the U.S. and Israel. Suspicion and accusation. But what's the reality? This is what we know. Iran has several nuclear sites, all monitored by the International Atomic Energy Agency, the world's nuclear watchdog. The IAEA says those facilities are peaceful and an important part of Iran's strategy to wean itself off gas and oil. World powers aren't really worried about Iran making nuclear energy per se. What they are worried about is Iran's ability to produce and stockpile highly enriched uranium, the stuff that's used to make the bomb. Not to get too deep into the science, but basically if you're making nuclear power, you're enriching uranium. But, and this is important, you're doing it at a much lower level than weapons grade. IAEA inspectors say Iran is keeping those levels low. Its February 2019 report says Iran doesn't have nearly enough uranium to make a bomb. Question is, how quickly could Iran change course? And does it even want to? That's a debate that's been going on for decades.
And that's news. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.pb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.